To discuss this new shakeup, let's bring in Middle East analyst Thane Rosenbaum. Thane, welcome. So Ayelet, she's the big story in Israel right now. And today she announced that forming the United Right Party is not going to be her last move. She's going to try and bring together all right-wing parties, except for, the Likud and Israel Beitenu, Lieberman's party, in order to avoid losing votes that won't make it past the threshold. Now, here's my question to you. Who should feel more threatened by Ayelet?
First of all, I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot, because I have been here several.
Right.
I've been saying it all along. She was going to come, and when she finally figured it out and decided who she wanted to have an alliance with, she would become the kingmaker, and here she is, the kingmaker.
Taking that title from Lieberman?
I think so. I think that if Netanyahu could embrace her, and what you saw from your segment, won't, largely because of Sarah Netanyahu. But if he might freeze out Lieberman, right? There might have been the possibility, because what she's trying to do, remember in Israel, if you don't get 3.25% of the vote, you don't get a seat in the Knesset. So think about all these right-wing parties, small ones, Zehut in particular, Moshe Feiglin's party.
Otzma Yehudit.
Otzma Yehudit, exactly. Parties that really people thought had numbers and in the end were wasted votes. What she's trying to do, that's what she's trying to do. She's bringing those two parties into she's saying, if you vote for them alone, you get nothing. If you come in with us, we might actually have a real united right bloc. And maybe, just maybe, we have enough to add to Likud, and that would be enough without Lieberman. The irony of this is that Netanyahu doesn't like Lieberman, and he doesn't like Shaked. Both are his partners. He needs one of them. He might need both of them, but he can't stand both. And so here he is, he's dangling out there. And he's going to win, but it's the personal conflict that's really behind this.
So why is Likud now saying that the political right is in jeopardy and in danger here?
It's nuts. It totally doesn't make sense, because
it's not so much that the political right's in danger, as that Netanyahu's in danger.
His coalition, the one that he wants, which means his friends, the people he can play with the best, and apparently the ones neither Shaked and neither Lieberman. Unfortunately, they're leading the two right-wing parties that have the intermediate amount of votes, significant votes, 8 seats, 10 seats, 6 seats, somewhere in there. He's got the Jewish Power Party. And what he was saying all along, and he said this during the election, don't vote for these small parties. Vote for me, because the small parties are not even going to get in, and you're going to waste your vote. You know what? He was right. But the problem was that after this election, Lieberman elevated himself. And by doing so, and Shaked elevated herself.
I want to ask you briefly the million-dollar question. Who is going to take more votes from who? Ayelet Shaked from Benjamin Netanyahu, or Ehud Barak, Meretz Party, and Stav Shafir from Benny Gantz?
I think Gantz has already dropped. And I think the Meretz Barak...
He's not even making any headlines.
Yeah, he's not even... is he still in the election?
He is.
But no, I actually think that I'm not sure what's going on the left. I know that we have alliances there, but I'm not sure that those are significant enough alliances. One thing that Shaked did here is by bringing her Zionist nationalist party and joining it with some of the religious parties. That was the problem. You had this conflict. This is Lieberman's problem. He can't get along with the religious parties. So what you needed was a nationalist Zionist party to form some coalition with religious parties, and that's what Shaked was able to do.
Is this going to force Lieberman to perhaps choose his alliances?
I think so, Eric. I think that now this was the key chess move. What does Shaked do? Ayelet Shaked. Now that she's made her move, Lieberman knows now. Before this, he was in the driver's seat. He may not be in the driver's seat anymore. So again, part of the problem is if someone could just befriend Netanyahu, this would be over. But the key players seem to have been in his disfavor.
Making friends is never easy. All right, Thane Rosenbaum, thank you so much for being here.
Part of me thinks that building a coalition next time is going to be even more complicated than back after the April vote.
We've got time.
Yeah, we've got time.